All right, so hi, I'm Morris Rosenthal for phonerbooks.com, and we're looking at the amortization table page I just added to my website. And it's in with my financial pages because I've been writing a lot about mortgages and finance lately, and it's apparent a lot of people they go through the process and they use the online calculators, but they don't really understand what's going on behind it. And it turns out that calculating the amortization table, figuring out how much money that you're paying on your mortgage is going to principal as opposed to interest, is really pretty easy to do once you know the monthly payment. Now, it's trivial if you use an online calculator or a spreadsheet, and in fact, I link the Microsoft spreadsheet on this page that produces the amortization table that we see down here at the bottom as just as a sort of a check that I did on myself. But it's really more interesting to do it yourself and understand what goes on underneath. So the thing for determining amortization, you don't need a fancy calculator. I'm just going to use the Google toolbar up here. And I was just trying it out there with some numbers. So we start off, the first thing you need to do is you have to determine how much the interest for a given month is so that you can subtract that from the monthly payment that you know you're making on your mortgage. So the first thing you have to do is work out the portion of interest. You start with the interest rate, which it's 5%, but we know that 5% is really 0.05. We'll call it 5 divided by 100. And you see Google is giving us the answer there. And then we're going to divide by 12 months because it's going to be spread over 12 months. And we get this big long number here, 0.004166667. Repeating, and that's the number that we're actually looking for. So that's where we're showing down here the end of this first formula. Now, when you multiply that times the principal at the beginning, this is the very first mortgage payment. So we have this $100,000 mortgage at 5% for 15 years, because I'm using those numbers because I used them in another example on how to calculate mortgage payments. So you multiply that 100,000 by this 0.00416667, and you get $416.67. So that's the amount of interest that's paid that month. Now we come up here, we already know that our mortgage payment is $790.79. I mean, it's scrolling off the edge of the page here, but we're going to continue with it anyway. So we'll go 790.79 minus 416.67. And it tells us that's $374.12, which we have here. So we know that for the first month, the amount of interest paid is $416.67, and the amount of principal paid is a little less than half of the amount that you pay. It's $374.12. Now, the big trick, if you want to call it that, this is an iterative process that you do from month to month, is how much principal is left at the end of the first month. So all you do is you subtract off that amount that we already showed, the $374.12. You get $99,625.88. And therefore you build the first row of your amortization table. You have the remaining principal, the principal paid, the interest paid, the total interest paid so far, and the total principal paid so far. Some people like to start their amortization tables at the beginning of the first month. It really doesn't make a difference as long as you keep track of what you're doing. So then we go through the exact same process again to determine the second month. And obviously it's more trivial for a computer to do this. But we'll go up here and we have the starting principal at the beginning of the second month is $99,625.88, and we're going to multiply that by this 0.000416667, which is rounded, of course, and we get this $415.11, which we enter here. $415.11 is the interest paid in the second month. So you can already see that in the second month, we're paying a little less interest than we paid in the first month. $1.50 less is going to interest. And when you do that other subtraction, take the mortgage payment and subtract the interest paid in the second month, you get $375.68. So you're paying a little more principal that month. So you're able to build a table this way, and independent of what month your mortgage started, you can count how many months you've made payments this year and add up that total interest paid as you go along, which of course is what you're allowed to deduct on your federal tax return on the Schedule A if you itemize, which only makes sense if you have enough tax deductions in order to itemize. And of course, like we mentioned earlier, if you just want to download a spreadsheet and do it, I got this one from Microsoft. All you would do is enter the loan amount, the interest rate, the loan period, the year you're starting, and the month you're starting. And sure enough, you end up with an amortization table popping right up in Excel. So I'm Morris Rosenthal for Phoner Books, and I hope you visit our website, and I hope that you get some benefit out of this.